Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to a Q&A video. Today I thought I would just sit down and catch up with you because I feel like I haven't chatted with you like this for ages, and I've been meaning to film this because I asked for Q&A questions quite a while ago. So I've got them all here and I'm going to answer some of them and also update you guys on a few things and just generally have a catch up. So I hope you really enjoy this video. If you do, give it a big like. And if you're new around here, I would absolutely love you to subscribe. I know I kind of say that in every video, but today I also wanted to say, if you aren't subscribed to my channel and you do enjoy the videos, I would absolutely love you to subscribe. My kids are so rooting for me to get the 1 million play button. I have the 100,000 play button, but I am creeping up. I'm on 866,000 subscribers now, which in itself is insane. But the boys, especially Jackson, is so excited about me getting to 1 million. But whenever he says it, I think that is so far off. It's such a huge, far away goal. So I thought I would just, encourage you to if you feel like it. Obviously, no pressure. But anyway, let's get into the video. You may also be wondering what this microphone over here is doing. It's not for this video. It was from a recording of our podcast that we did, which isn't out yet. I will let you know as soon as it is. And I would move it, but it's attached to the table and I feel like I could break it. I tried to briefly, but I'm scared to move it. So that is there. And also, it's a really grey, horrible day. So I've set up a little light over here if you're wondering why it's a bit shadowy and stuff. The weather is not very good here. But anyway, the first question is from Abby, and she said, "You always seem so happy and patient, which is inspirational. Do you or have you gone through hard phases with your children, with school, friends, behavior, or anything that you can remember now that you have experienced toddlers and teens? Any advice is welcome." The first thing I would say to that question is, don't forget that this YouTube channel is very much just snippets of my life, and I can choose what I want to share and what I don't want to share. So say if I film a whole day in the life video, it might only be 25 minutes long. So really, you're only seeing 25 minutes of our whole day. So remember that. But also, I do feel very lucky with the boys. All in all, they're very happy, healthy boys. I haven't had any huge issues with their behavior. I always feel like when I meet with my friends that have girls, they seem to have a few more friendship dramas at school and things. But yeah, one thing I'm struggling with at the moment is my two younger ones have been fighting quite a lot. Seems like my eldest gets on with everyone, but the two younger ones really know how to wind each other up. So I do feel like I'm constantly trying to get them to be nice to each other, get them to stop saying little things to each other, get them to not wrestle so much. So that's probably my biggest challenge at the moment. But they are also really sweet. Jackson had something happen at school recently, and the teacher pulled me up at the gate at the end of the school day to tell me about it. And she was like, yeah, it was in the playground, and he actually went and got his brother for help, meaning the brother that he's always fighting with. And I was like, oh my gosh, at home, they literally are killing each other. And at school, if something happens at school, he is running to his brother for support and for help. So I was like, maybe they do like each other more than they let on at home. Something else that's been a little bit tricky lately is I'm currently solo parenting just for a few days because Matt has gone to Spain to visit his dad. His dad lives out there, and he's been out a couple of times recently because his dad hasn't been that well. We don't really know exactly what's wrong yet, so I won't sort of talk about it too much, but obviously we're worried about him, but then also it's really hard with the three of them because they do so many activities. So last night I needed to be in 3 places at once. One had scouts, one had football, the dog wanted walking, it was all happening. We rely on each other so much to be this team, so I am really missing him at the moment as well. The next question is, any tips for remote working as a mother? I would like to work mainly from home in marketing or business administration. I'm not a YouTube creator, but I am thinking of a career change. And it's funny how motherhood can do that to you. It can make you sort of reevaluate everything, change your perspective as well. For me, when I had my children, I was desperate to start a business of my own, but then I started YouTube as a hobby, not knowing that could actually be what I do for a living. So I actually started this YouTube channel 11 years ago next month, which is insane. And at that time, people weren't really doing it as a career. It was very much like a creative hobby for me. And I've always kept a diary. And I just felt like this was like a video diary, like a video version of that. But there are so many jobs that you can do remotely. And I would say the main hurdle is like taking that leap or having the confidence to do something else, because you're used to doing whatever you're doing at the moment. So I would say the first thing to do is just get the confidence to start a side hustle. And I mean, I don't know if you're working and then you can do that at the same time and then give one up, because that's what I ended up doing in YouTube. I worked consistently in my day job until my YouTube channel was sort of like at a point where I felt like I could leave, because it's really scary. Sorry, that's my doorbell. 1 second. Sorry, it was a Vinted parcel. I just bought a secondhand on coat for Fraser on Vinted for like half the price, so I'm quite pleased. That's just arrived. But yeah, another thing that I wanted to talk about, because I've been getting so many questions about it over on Instagram, is perimenopause and HRT. And while I don't want to like go on and on about it, I feel like I've talked quite a bit over on Instagram stories about it and stuff. I haven't really mentioned it over on here. So I thought I would just update you guys, and feel free to fast forward this if you're not there at all. Like, I think if I was watching this at like 25, maybe I'd be like, oh, I'm just not there yet, and like fast forward. But as women, we are all gonna go through it at some stage. Like, it's not like some of us go through it, it's like we will all go through it at some stage. So I feel like it's also my duty to like tell you guys a little bit about it. I have started a bit of HRT now, which is hormone replacement therapy. And I think maybe I am quite young. Some people have said, oh, you know, that's really young to start that. I think most people get their symptoms at like 47. But for me, I started getting some symptoms at about 38. I've always had like hormonal issues, I feel. I suffer with endometriosis and adenomyosis. And even when I was a kid, I went through puberty really young. I remember being at primary school and getting my period, and like, it was like a whole thing. I felt like I was the earliest in like my group of friends. So maybe that's why this is early as well. I don't know. Or maybe I'm like heightened to the symptoms because of endometriosis has made me like look at my cycle so much and like track everything and like really get to know my body. I don't know. I actually had surgery for my endometriosis because it was really painful when, you know, around my time of the month, it was just very painful. And I've had 3 children naturally, but I would struggle so much with that pain. So I've had the surgery that really helped. And at the time I got the Mirena coil, which also gives you progesterone. And I felt a lot better actually after getting the Mirena coil. But around the time of moving into this home, which we moved into about 4 years ago, I did have some symptoms, but I kept putting it down to the fact that we had just moved house. I must be so tired because of that. I must be a bit moody or stressed because of all these changes, and we were renovating the house and everything was just like happening. So I kind of always put it down to that. But then when I was recording my audiobook, I had my first kind of like panic attack, and I've never had anxiety before in my life. So it was like an alarm bell to me. And so I actually went and saw a specialist locally who, you know, only works in women's health. And my friend had recommended her, so I went to chat to her and then talk about hormones. And, you know, I was like feeling anger that I hadn't really felt before. And my main symptom in perimenopause was just not feeling like I was coping as well anymore. And my kids were getting older, so I was feeling like, if anything, like life's a bit easier now, and I'm like not coping that well with stress. So we had a big chat about everything, and then I started on a little bit of like estrogen gel. So I just put a cream onto my arms at night, and that is pretty much it. You can also wear patches if you want to, but I opted for the gel because I like to have a bath every night. So she was like, patch might not be best for that. And I have felt that my mood has improved so much since being on it. So I'm really, really pleased. And then I just started a little tiny bit of testosterone as well, because she did a blood test for me and my testosterone was low, which makes sense because I had noticed a few things, like testosterone can help you stay like really motivated and productive. And you may have noticed, like, I stopped making so many videos on this channel, and I think all of it was kind of part of that. But I am feeling a bit more myself now, so I will be making more content, and just generally, like, I don't know, I just felt like I was getting a little bit snappy and, just struggling with stress. Whereas when I think of perimenopausal symptoms, you think of the really obvious ones like night sweats, hot flushes, your period really changing, but I didn't really seem to have those. I just had this like feeling of not being myself. So I've started that and I'm feeling amazing. I feel like my skin is great. I've managed to lose some weight. I've obviously made loads of lifestyle changes as well. But yeah, I'm feeling really, really good now. So yeah, ask me any questions you have about it. I feel like I've just blurted out loads of stuff. And I would also say, if you do think you're at that stage, definitely read a few books or listen to a few podcasts about it, because I found that invaluable. Because I listened to one podcast in particular and I kept feeling like everything she was saying was like describing me. Next thing I wanted to update on is my Hack Your Home videos. You may have seen I did about 4 Hack Your Home videos, which is where I would go into someone else's house, really help them clean and organize it and sort everything out. And I loved making them. They're probably like my favorite content to make. People would email in, I'd love help with this or that, I'm struggling with this. And then I would go, normally with Matt, and then I would like clean their place, organize it, and just kind of like help out. I haven't made a video like that for quite a while now, because when I would be there cleaning and organizing and getting to know the person like for the day, and I'd really connect with them, and it would be just so lovely to feel like you're helping and making a difference. But in every one of the cases, something would come up and then I would feel like quite ill-equipped to help. So one of the ladies, she was so lovely and she was actually amazing, but she had postnatal OCD, and I obviously, like, I didn't know much about it. And then another lady that I helped, she was really grieving, and it was, it was so nice to help her, but I felt like I almost like needed more. Like I wanted, a professional with me to also, like, I was thinking I can be here and I can be cleaning this and helping this, but like as I leave, like I feel like I've not actually helped with your grief or with you getting over the problem that made it the mess in the first place, if that makes any sense. So I feel like I would love to start that up again, but I feel like I would almost need to get someone on side that could then also talk to the person and like help a bit more. And maybe I chose the most extreme cases of people that emailed in, because people would send pictures and I would see them and I'd be like, oh my God, that is desperate. We need to go and help them first. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of what's happened with Hack Your Home. I just felt like maybe I need like a bigger team. Maybe I need to be offering people also help afterwards, because it's funny how like the disorganization and everything, like it wasn't really them, it was down to like something else that was just going on in their lives. The next question is, do you and Matt get much alone time together with your busy lives? And the answer to that is no, we really don't get enough time together. I know some people say you should go on a date night every 2 weeks or things like that, but we don't get loads of alone time together. Sometimes if he's around in the week, we will like walk to a cafe together or like go on a dog walk together, and that's really nice. But especially now the boys are older, they're going to bed later. And actually that was another question, what time do the boys go to bed? So Fraser and Caleb go up at 9 p.m. and then they're normally asleep like shortly after that. They basically brush their teeth, whatever, and then go to bed. And then Jackson goes to bed at 8:30. So I normally take Jackson up at 8, read with him, and then he goes to bed at 8:30. But because they're all going to bed so much later now, gone are the days where they'd all be asleep at 7 p.m. and then we would hang out all evening together. We're kind of always, together, but it's fine, I actually love it. I love sitting on the couch. Like, now that they're this age as well, we can watch things together. Like Fraser and Caleb really got into watching Prison Break, so we've watched like the whole Prison Break series twice, and we love it. There's always like changes, isn't there? Someone else asked, how often do you get your nails done and how often do you get your hair done? I get my nails done religiously every 3 weeks. Like, I went through a phase of doing it at home, especially during COVID and stuff. I've got all the stuff, I can do it at home. But if I want something like a bit different, like these French nails, I'll go like to the salon every 3 weeks. That tends to be when they grow out. And then for my hair, I try and make it go 10 weeks. I probably need it every 8 weeks, but I drag it out to 10 weeks. Someone else said, do you ever shout at your kids? And yes, sometimes I snap. I think everyone does, but you really have to push me to the very edge, like the brink, for me to actually shout. Like, I really try not to. I try to be calm and just use my words and have strong boundaries. But every now and then, yes, I shout, but I would say, it's not like I'm not a shouty mum, I would say that. Someone said, how do you plan financially as a family? So Matt and I do sit down probably twice a year, like maybe every 6 months. We sit down, we talk about the budget, and it's normally a case of him reining me in and me going, we should do this, we should go there, we should do this. So I feel like we're a really good balance, because I'm like a bit of a dreamer, and whereas he's a bit more like, come on, we need to chill out here. Someone else asked, do you do timeouts, and do your kids bathe daily or just when needed? So when they were little, we did do timeouts. We used to have them sit on the thinking step, which I think is like a super nanny thing that I saw once. So if they did something really unacceptable, I'd say you've got to sit on the thinking step, and it would be for as many minutes as their age. But with that method, I really don't think they sat on it for longer than 3 minutes. So I'm assuming that ended at 3 years old, and then they'd have to apologize and we'd move on. But I feel like that really didn't last very long before they knew the boundaries and that we didn't need to use the step anymore. And yes, my kids bathe every day. Well, now that they're older, they can have a bath or a shower, it's up to them. But I've just always really loved a routine. And so even from a very young age, we'd go upstairs at 6 p.m, we'd do the bath, we'd do the reading, bed, all of it. But at school often as well, they are so muddy. They play football, they are really active, they've got PE, they've got it all going on. So I just feel like, let's just have a shower every day, and hopefully they will keep that up. Someone else asked, how do you create your travel plans, and what are the kinds of things that you consider? I think for every family it's going to be different. For instance, for ours, because we've got 3 boys that love football, a non-negotiable for us is that they will be able to play football. If we're going to go to a resort kind of holiday, we will search and see if there's a football pitch there, if they can play football every day. It's so important because they love it so much. And if every day we know that, okay, from 4 till 5, they can go and play football, it just really helps. I'm always torn between holidays where you move around a lot and you travel a lot. Say we went to Bali and we moved, as a family, and it was so fun. And when actually my husband Matt and I met when we were 22 and 24, we went traveling for months around Asia and Australia. And, so we love that style of traveling, but it's harder with kids. And the most relaxing holidays are the all-inclusive resort holidays. So we went on one at Christmas because we knew December was going to be a really, really busy month. So I was really looking forward to a holiday where we did nothing. And it was amazing for that. I feel like when we've done self-catering holidays, it's not as relaxing because as mum and dad, we still have to make sure everyone's fed 3 times a day. There's washing going on, and you're still making food and cleaning up the whole time. So I find that self-catering holidays, although they're amazing, we love Center Parcs and we go all the time, for a real relaxing holiday, I don't think you can beat an all-inclusive. You leave the buffet and you leave the mess there. That is like the best thing ever. I also have had a couple of people ask me what aspects of parenting I find the hardest. And I was really thinking about this because there's been different stages throughout parenting that I've found more challenging than others. Like I've often said on this channel that I found the age of 18 months old really tricky because they want to do everything, but then they actually can't do anything that safely. So I always found that like you're just running around, like that was like back-breaking. But the stage where I'm at now with my eldest, who is 14, I actually think it might be the hardest stage, not because he's challenging, like he is a dream. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but I think the hardest part of parenting for me will be the letting go part of parenting, because I love being a mom. I've made it like my whole identity and my whole world. So now I'm at that stage where actually you need to let go and you need to almost get yourself out of a job. Like I need him to be able to do everything so that he can be this capable adult. So I've started teaching him like, you know, like small things in the kitchen, like, you know, this is how you make this is how you make that, just because I really want him to be capable, teaching him how to do laundry, how to strip his bed sheets, how to, you know, although I think I am the type of mum who like would actually love to do everything, but now I really need to get myself out of a job. I need him to be able to do everything, and I actually find that quite hard. And also let him have more space to, you know, go out with friends, you know, do things that he wants to do. It's really sad because I love, you know, I just miss him. So I think I find that hard. And you know, a random thing that I have always hated in parenting is putting shoes on kids. I don't really have to do it anymore because they are older, but for years I was like, I hate putting shoes on kids because they don't want to do it. They're moving around loads. And then as they got older, they would use my thumb as a shoehorn. And I just really hated that part as well. Someone else asked, how do you start making content as a mum and someone who works? How do you find the confidence and how do you know what to post? So I would say, don't even overthink it. Like, make content that you want to make and that, like, on a subject that you'll enjoy. And I would just say the main thing is to start, because you learn so much more from starting than just thinking about it. If you sit down and make a whole plan, then I think you'll never do it. Like, me and Matt have just started a podcast. We are clueless. Like, we don't know what we're doing, but we were like, let's just go. Let's just like hit the ground running, you know, and we will just learn inevitably as we're putting things out, and you guys will tell you what you want and what you don't want. Don't overthink it. I've been doing this for 11 years and I still don't really know what I'm doing. Another question that I got was, why don't you travel to Canada more? But I actually went back in September and it was a huge deal because I went back on my own and I have never left the kids before, like in terms of flying somewhere without them. So I was really proud of myself. I've always had separation anxiety with the kids, so it was a really, really big deal. And it was really nice to see my family, although it was because my grandma passed away. So it was like a really sad event, but it was also really nice to see everyone. I am actually going back in June for a wedding. It's my cousin's wedding, so I'm sure you guys will see that. The next question is quite a nosy question. She asks, how stable is your income? Does it fluctuate being an influencer? And if so, how do you plan for that? So yes, like any other small business owner, it does fluctuate from month to month. So I might have an amazing September and then a not as amazing October. I would say the most stable part about my income is actually the YouTube AdSense. Whereas when I work with a brand, it's more ad hoc, so you can't necessarily like plan or predict for that throughout the year. But yeah, it's still like, it's going well. And I think because I've now got the confidence, like I've done this for 11 years, I can look on how past years have gone and feel a bit more confident. Someone else asked, how do you stay so organized? Please share your organizational tips. So I would say, having a routine is amazing, but then also like this month I've been feeling really disorganized because November, December was so busy. So I love to do like a declutter challenge. I've mentioned this before. You can find them on Pinterest, but it's basically where you declutter like a different space in your home, just one space a day. That might take 10 or 20 minutes, but by doing just one a day over a whole month, it kind of like, you know, it's 30 days of organizing really, and it makes such a massive difference. So I would totally recommend like starting there, doing like a blitz, and then you're at the point where then you just feel like you can maintain it. Someone else asked, would you and your family ever come to Australia? Lots of love from Australia. So yeah, we would absolutely love to. Obviously, we went to Bali last summer, so that's actually not that far from Australia. And Matt and I actually traveled the east coast of Australia for 2 months when we were just a couple and we were young. And we did like the very typical backpacker route from Sydney all the way up to the top, and then we went to Thailand. So yeah, I'd love to take the kids one day, maybe over a Christmas period when they're a little bit older, because that's obviously like the summer in Australia, and I would love to, you know, have the sun there and show the kids like we had the best times. I think watch this space because I would love to take the kids one day, and I'd also love to show them New Zealand as well. I traveled around New Zealand for 5 weeks and I just loved it. Someone asked, what are your hopes and dreams for you and your family in 2025? And I would just like more of the same. I think I'd love to like travel, go to a few places with the kids. I just want them to be happy, healthy, and do what we're doing. But every year I actually sit down and write my goals as if they've already happened. So I will sit down and think, okay, what do I want to achieve this year? And then I'll write, I am so grateful that this happened. I'm so grateful that like we're happy and healthy, and that we visited these places, and that I worked with these people, and that, you know, I earned this or whatever. I always like to write it all down and then really like try and think on that and manifest it. I swear it works. Someone else asked, don't you get tired and bored? I don't know if she means the YouTube channel, but no, I don't. I've done this for 11 years and I absolutely love it still. It's the longest I've done any job like consistently. I constantly have ideas on videos that I can create or things that I want to share here and on Instagram, and yeah, I'm just still having the best time. And someone else asked, how do you choose a good secondary school for your children? Do you have any recommendation in terms of types of school? And that's a really hard question because it's so dependent on where you live. I would say where we live in Essex, we are spoilt for choice. There are so many good senior schools where we live, so we're really lucky. So when we went to look around schools with the kids, I really was going on like gut feeling. Obviously you look at statistics and exam results, that kind of thing. But then I was also really looking for a gut feeling, and same with primary school. I would be like, oh, I think I can see them here. And I think that would really suit them. So it's so dependent on your own child. Definitely did when we looked at primary schools. I was like, this is the one. And then same with senior schools, I really got a gut feeling of where I thought would suit him, and I think he had the same feeling as well. So definitely I would look at all of them. I would really do your research, because I feel like if you've got all the information, you can make a really good decision. I would say don't feel pressured that they should go to the same school where all of their friends are going, because they will make so many new friends as soon as they start senior school. But yeah, I hope that's helpful. I don't know if it was. But anyway, I think I'm going to end the video here because it's probably quite long now. But thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions at all, put them in the comments down below and I will be sure to answer them. And yeah, thanks for spending some time with me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!